Hey, it's Frank here, and today we are going to cover power off stalls. We're going to have a look, not just a look from the airplane, but kind of a bird's eye view of what a stall looks like and what the recovery looks like. We'll also discuss exactly what a stall is, and we'll show you how to get in and out of stalls safely. So how to practice and prepare for it safely, and then how to execute the recovery for the stall so that you can carry on flying. Now, if you are an aviator, if you're a pilot, or if you're a student and you're training, keep in mind that this is reference material for you to learn. If the procedure that your instructor gives you differs from what you see here, of course you go with what they're telling you and what they're doing for you. So sit back and enjoy this view of what a stall looks like from outside an airplane. And thanks for flying with Frank. So first, let's talk about what a stall is. Most non-aviators think that a stall deals with your engine quitting, but in aviation, it's actually referring to your wing not producing enough lift to counteract weight. As you see in this diagram from NASA, the wing in the bottom picture is flying fine. It's producing lift. The wing at the top, though, has an increased angle of attack, and the angle of attack is the angle between the chord, which is an imaginary line between the front and the trailing edge of the wing, and the actual flight path. You see how it creates an angle there? The greater you increase that angle, the more turbulence you get, to a point where the wing can no longer produce enough lift to keep the airplane flying. And then you see in that graph to the right, a stall occurs, at which point you don't have anywhere near enough lift to keep the airplane flying. Now, before you perform any types of maneuvers like this, you're going to do these Hazel checks. You're going to make sure that your height is appropriate and enough for the recovery of the stall. Your area below the airplane has to be sparsely settled. You secure all your loose objects in your cockpit so that things aren't flying all over the place. You secure your engine. You do a cockpit check, basically, is a good way to make sure that the engine parameters are all set for this. And then you do a lookout. A lookout can be, as you see here, a 90-degree turn to the left, followed by a 90-degree turn to the right while you're looking and clearing your area, or it can be a 360-degree turn in either direction. Now, regardless of which way you do it, when you do your lookout, make sure you're looking at fixed points to do your scan. So here you see you're looking at one fixed point below the horizon, one point at the horizon, and one point above the horizon. Your brain is great at spotting moving objects in flight, but it can do that best when your vision is fixed on one particular point. If you're darting your eyes all over the place, it's a lot easier to miss moving objects. So you slice the horizon vertically like that. Take a look, hold your gaze for a few seconds below, few seconds at, few seconds above the horizon, then move to your next point and check that way. And of course, you do that in your left turn, you do that in your right turn. But that's a scan that you should be using in all of your flying, regardless of whether you're doing stalls or doing any kind of aerobatics or maneuvers. Even when you're just in straight and level cruise, always keep a scan in that type of format, that type of way, and you'll be surprised how many airplanes you can spot. When air traffic control tells you there's an airplane at 2 o'clock, you look at the 2 o'clock area, low, horizon, high, and you'll be able to spot it every time. So here we've pulled off the power of the airplane. We're starting to slow it down. And the way we do this power off stall is you just carb heat hot if you have it, power to idle, and you just maintain your altitude, and that starts to slow the airplane down. Now, the way you can tell that it's happening here is you look at this imaginary line that the horizon cuts through the airplane with. And as we're slowing the airplane down, we're having to bring the nose up to maintain altitude, and it gets to that critical point where you'll really start to see the distance open up now between the horizon and the plane. And you get to that critical stalling point where the wing no longer produces enough lift, enough smooth airflow to maintain altitude. And then the nose is going to pitch down pretty aggressively. You'll see it happen here in just a couple of seconds. And when it does happen, when the nose pitches down, you're in a stall condition. You immediately reduce the angle of attack by lowering the nose, releasing the back pressure. You manage your thrust. In this case, because the wings are level, you apply full power, basically simultaneous to your application of forward pressure on the control column, or at least your release of back pressure. And then you manage your recovery. In most cases, in this airplane, you're watching a speed increase to best angle of climb, bringing the nose up to best rate of climb, and then climbing out at best rate of climb and recovering your altitude. Now I'm going to let you listen to the actual audio of what the power sounds like when it comes on the airplane. The reason why I just to show you how it's pretty much simultaneous as far as the easing of the back pressure, so that the reducing of the angle of attack, and then applying full power. The one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to apply full power with your control column still stuck all the way back in your belly, because then it could just cause that nose to pitch up drastically and exacerbate or worsen your stall, or certainly not recover your stall. So that's about it. That's your stall practice, preparation, entry, and recovery, and that's what it looks like from your airplane. Now, these Cessnas, this is a Cessna 172, very difficult to make these airplanes stall. They are so incredibly stable, and most of the times, a power-off stall when the wings are level like that, that's exactly what you'll get. 99.9% of the times, you just get the nose dropping, a very relaxed motion. You don't get wing drops most of the time, and the recovery is just what you see. We'll cover in later videos, we'll cover different types of stalls. Once you bring power on into the equation, it gives you torque. And once you bring a turning moment into the equation, it totally changes how the stall happens and what happens once the airplane stalls. It could get into an incipient spin or into a full spin. Also, if you do cross controlling, could greatly exacerbate the stall and lead to spin condition. We'll cover that in other flights, and hopefully you've learned something here and you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, just leave them below, or if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, these are the types of videos I'm going to do. I'm going to do a lot of these types of demonstration videos. I'm going to do some accident commentary videos and some videos about me going back to being an IFR pilot. So hope you enjoy them, and become a subscriber and smash that like button. I really appreciate it. Whoa! Thanks for flying with Frank.